Hi, my name is Lola.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Indira,
And I'm Sarah.
and this is AI in Academia. So, our research question was in what ways, in what situations is AI beneficial for learning, and when does it start to cause harm? We were hoping to find data on specific ways in which students are interacting with AI chatbots in an academic setting. For the data collection process, we use interviews to collect data. We each conducted three 15-minute interviews, and from these interviews, we have also provided the interview transcript, as well as any notes that might have been taken during the interviews and the video file of the recording. The questions we used during the interviews came straight from our School in AI interview protocol document that we worked together to create. For our data analysis process, after our interview data was collected, each group member worked to code their interview transcripts. Once we had the coded transcripts, we created a Miro board where we organized all of our codes together. After discussing our findings, we realized we saw many of the same themes throughout our interview codes. And by using the theme memo to collect all of our similar codes together, we were able to create an affinity diagram presenting our most commonly found codes.
So starting off with our interviews, we decided that putting our codes together would be a great idea to figure out where our themes spark from. So we first started in the Miro board by creating different codes in different sections. And then from those codes, you can go to the next slide. From those codes, we created the affinity diagram, which is on the left. And we grouped them together. Like, as you can see, we did easy to use. A lot of it was about convenience. So that was a big theme that we sparked from that. And then we had a bunch of other themes that sparked from our codes. And with those codes and the themes that we got from that, we created the diagram on the right. And that diagram helped us just visualize the positive and negative, the benefits and harmful sides of things, and it helped us create the themes that we wanted to further our analysis on. And then on the next slide, yeah. So on the next slide, we have all of our themes that we got from that affinity diagram and from the chart. And then we put different quotes to provide hardcore evidence, people were curious, using AI for curiosity, or people were using it for creative outlets and stuff like that. Um, on the next.
Yeah, and then we made this visualization. This is a bar chart that represents the different benefits and harms, and then the sort of yellow section is for all of the things that can be good or bad. Um, and if we go to the next slide, we added up all the counts of how many times each of those codes came up throughout our transcripts from our interviews. And we found that the harm and benefits were pretty much equal. I think there's like a 0.7% difference between the two, with benefits slightly outweighing the harms. So yeah.
So yeah, like Maddie just said, we were able to find that the benefits slightly outweighed the harms of using AI by just one data point. I'm sure if we had conducted more than 12 interviews, we would have been able to find a more which side weighs more than the other. But since this is just such a nuanced topic, it's so hard to fully see the positive and negatives because everybody feels differently and uses AI differently, and it's very interesting about that. And then yeah, and we basically just found that the impacts and outcomes are up to the user and how they choose to use it. Everything is very situational. Like if you use AI positively, then your scores and your grades will reflect that. But if you use it negatively and just copy and paste things, you'll obviously have a negative impact to your grade in the long run and you won't learn anything.
Yes, okay. And then for our research implications, obviously, AI and academics are a big conversation right now. From our interviews, we found that students are using AI in a pretty wide variety of ways. And everyone has very different opinions on if it should be used at all and how. Within our interviews, we noticed a lot of overlap in themes, but also a lot of differences. And this made us think about why our participants have had such different perspectives and experiences with AI. And also wondering if cultural background or environmental factors explain these differences. Um, if we had more time to complete this project, we could have interviewed a larger group of people with more diverse backgrounds and majors and careers and all of that to get a better scale and to offer some more perspective. So questions for future research that we had was how can we encourage more productive AI use for learning? And also how can students be motivated to learn for themselves without having chatbots think for them?
So where do we go from here with AI on the rise? For CU and big institutions, it's really important that AI integration is mindful and it makes your students reflect on what exactly they're learning and how they're using AI. You could include letting students use AI, but show how to use it properly, making them cite their sources, show their steps, show the prompts they use. Having AI training and literacy classes and education on necessary laws and privacy implications are really important, as well as just creating assignments and projects that actually encourage creative thinking instead of just busy work. And then for students, it's just important to know yourself and know your learning. It's your job to develop AI literacy, and set boundaries with yourself and how you're learning and how much you're learning, and try to limit your AI usage for just for organization, structure, and motivation.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all we have. So thank you.
Yes.